Please put your questions in the chat. I have Corey here with me. He's going to be helping me make sure we get all of your questions answered. Um, we want to hear from you, right? We want to make this as valuable as possible for your time, and to help equip you to get more clientele, more leads, more turnover with those listing appointments. So let's talk about the active marketing plan. And here's what I'll say before you even jump in, right? I have this at the end as well. There are three ways that you can share the active marketing plan with your client. We have the long version magazine that's available. We have the short version, which is only like a two pager, like a bifold. And then we have a digital version. So there's really no excuse to not utilize this tool in some way with your clientele because you have a free version, a short version that I think comes out to like $1.10 ish per short professional magazine. And then you have the long magazine, which I think is 22 pages if you want to go in a really deep dive. So you have a lot of options, which I do love about this. But this is really going into the psychology behind our listing power tools box. Why does it work? Why does it matter? Right? It's just a box. We hear people say that. Well, let's dive into it. So, the active marketing plan is the basis and demonstration for how the LPT Power Pack works, the psychology behind it, and why it is strategic. It explains to your client how we reach more buyers than traditional agents, why, and you'll hear these three things: exposure, emotion, and repetition matter in the process of selling their home, and how each pillar of the plan works together to drive demand for your seller's property. So, how do buyers really find their home, right? We can go into some of the statistics behind it. And we can easily see from data that 9% find their home through yard signs, which is really important that your yard sign is on point, right? You hear me talk about this a lot. We need the information on our yard sign, which is where that writer is so important. 44% find their home online, right? Via MLS, listing syndication, or Zillow, Homes, Realtor.com. 33% find their home through another agent, and that only brings it to 86%. How can we close in that gap of 14%? How are they finding their homes, right? Is it word of mouth? Can we do something to close that gap and to get our clients' home circulating? So here we go. This is just to give a demonstration of that. The idea behind our active marketing plan and how our listing power toolbox works, and the campaign that you're going to go on utilizing that box, is that so we can um, reach that 14% and help drive demand up for the home. We all know that when you go on the market, the first 2 weeks, those are the most important 2 weeks of exposure for that property. The goal is to get as many people as possible into that home. And so, how do we do that? What is our actual system behind this process to get that exposure, repetition, and emotion in front of the client? So, here's the thing, moving through exposure, right? What you want to explain to your seller. You're sitting in front of them and telling them why you are different than the other traditional agent who is just going to put their property on the MLS, syndicate it out to third party sites, and do an open house. You're going to explain to them, this is my marketing plan for your home. And it's rooted in exposure, repetition, and emotion. So, first is exposure. We are looking to get your home in front of people who haven't even started looking yet, right? Who don't even have a drip campaign set up with their MLS, but maybe they're just dabbling their foot and looking at Zillow every other day, every weekend, right? Thinking towards their future goals at the end of the year. We really should move this year, honey. You know, I really do want to get the kids into this school system or this neighborhood, or we do need to move closer to our aging parents, whatever the why may be. There are people who are having these conversations tableside, right, in their living room at night when they lay down to go to sleep. They are already thinking about those goals for the coming year. And because buying a house is a huge goal, it takes preparation, and selling as well, making a transition out of where you are to somewhere else. It's a big deal. People who just left the market. We are targeting people who just gave up because they couldn't find the right house in the right neighborhood. They've been looking for the past year. They feel every price that comes or every property that comes up in that neighborhood is overpriced, or there's just not inventory or availability. So we have people that have just maybe given up but have been actively looking. And then we have people who know that are looking, who we know. So when I'm in a neighborhood, when I'm speaking with neighbors, with friends, when I'm networking, when I'm out and about at my local Publix, right, or my kids' sporting event, there are people I'm coming in contact with there who know people who are looking for a home, right? Those connections are endless. And so exposure is how we are going to strategically market your property. Emotion. So we want to focus on, Mr. Seller, making your home more memorable, right? We want people to see that property in and invoke some kind of emotional response to where we can change it from a financial decision to more of an emotional decision. Pictures can invoke that. That's a big reason that we use print marketing. And we're really intentional about not just making it all digital, and really the reason for that supercharged yard sign that we're going to take a look at that has those interior photos of the home with that sign writer, there's a reason for that, because it's my job to present your house to potential buyers not as just any home but as their home, right? You're selling the lifestyle part of it. That is where you can demonstrate, the neighborhood reports that we have. We talked about that last week. That is part of a lifestyle choice. People want to be close to schools or stores, or as we talked about, Whole Foods, some of us, some of you, or Publix, convenience, right? The next thing is we want to have the repetition. And that is one thing that my marketing does and how it works for you is that I am not only canvassing your neighborhood with the open house system that I use, but I'm using repetition with mailers, with digital marketing campaigns, right? I am employing all of these strategies to get your home to get that repetition. The more a buyer sees your property, whether that's in print form, right? I want them to see the door hanger that I put on their door, but then I also want them to get a postcard. And then I also want them to come by the open house. And then I also want them to see the digital campaign that I run as well. The more repetition you can get of that home within that sphere and circumference of that property, the more familiar they become with it, the more that they think about it, right? It triggers this whole thought pattern, or they'll tell other people about it. So it's the psychology behind the print material that really drives this process to get that property sold. So the four pillars of the active marketing plan, what are they? The first is in-home activation. The idea that their home is the central area from which all efforts are deployed. Everything is about that property, right? And we're going to make sure that we do a great job of setting our client up for success and making sure their home is market ready, right? And getting all of the print material prepared, using the best photographer that we have to highlight it in the best light possible. All of our efforts are around that in-home activation. We then are going to deploy what we call our neighborhood canvas. We are going to strategically, I'm going to put that open house on the books for Saturday or for maybe even a Friday afternoon, maybe around school dismissal hours when I know we have people driving down that main road where the kids' school is. I'm going to be strategic about my time with my open house in planning that out. And then I'm going to door knock the day previous to my open house. And I'm going to actually boots on ground, sweat equity, get belly to belly with the neighbors, say, hey, I'm hosting an open house tomorrow at this time. I'd love if you come by. Do you know anyone who's looking to purchase in your neighborhood? Maybe friends or family that are looking to move closer. I'm going to have that print material to hand them as a conversation starter, right? Or that door hanger or postcard or business card or whatever it is that you choose to use in your neighborhood canvas. But I'm going to be strategic about my method in deploying those resources. I have direct mail available to me. So, direct mail really is a class in and all of itself. But even just for $99, that is, I believe, our lowest package cost. If you want to send out postcards in the direct area, you can do it for open house. You can do it as just listed. You have your communication platform number linked to that postcard. You deploy direct mail. We've seen it be very successful. Again, with the goal being that repetition. And we take care of all of that for you, printing it, sending it out on your behalf within a certain radius. So we have direct mail. And then we also have digital marketing. We have digital marketing plans available to you and your seller so that you can decide which methods. I think all four of them work together to get the biggest bang for your buck as far as marketing strategy goes. But there's different packages for that. And we advertise that property on non-real estate websites, right? So like Forbes.com, Newsweek, and it retargets them and has that geo-tracking aspect. Again, so you can get as much repetition as possible. So these are the ways that I'm going to work to get exposure for your home. So, in home activation, your home is the center from which all my marketing tactics emerge and the destination we want every interested buyer to reach. So, this comes with our supercharged yard sign we're going to look at here in a moment. Our neighborhood reports, like I mentioned, with the maps, amenities, and the lifestyle features, and then open houses and showings powered by print and digital materials. We have, here's the supercharged yard sign. So one thing that I love to talk about this sign, some people are like, I don't know about the sign writer. Okay. I love the sign writer. and here's why. Because just having a yard sign with a phone number on it and a name, that's fine and great, but that doesn't give me any information about the home. What am I going to do? Stand in the driveway, look at my Google Maps and find out where am I right now. And I'm going to Google that address or put it in Zillow or Realtor.com. And I'm going to look at the information of the property because that is what I want to see. Well, when I do that as a consumer, I'm instantly competing with other agents. Why? Because Zillow and Realtor.com are going to have all these other agents pop up. They're going to have other properties pop up, right? To draw my attention away. This yard sign is the answer for that because I have a non-invasive way to get information about this property. I don't have to call you. I can text you. How many people enjoy just sending a text and getting it done? I don't have to have this conversation with someone. We know how apprehensive buyers can be when reaching out about a property. This gives them the option to text. And what they're going to get back is that property dedicated website, that website that has just your seller's home on it. And keep in mind, because it's not syndicated, all right, it's not syndicated to third party sites. I'm not competing with anyone. I have all the pictures there of the property, the interior photos. I have the price of the home. I have your information as the listing agent. I can also make an appointment. I can make an appointment to see the property from this link, this property dedicated website. And you can put buyer's agent commission or compensation. Offers of compensation to their buyer's agent can be listed on this if you choose to, because it is not syndicated to third party sites. It is your listing. It is single property website. So the sky's the limit. I encourage you, if you're not utilizing your website, single property website feature within Connect, it is one of the most powerful things you have for your seller. And it's really important that you kind of lock in on that and master, it. Even when you scroll down to the bottom of this property dedicated website, it says other properties you have listed, your properties, not another agent's property. And it has interior photos. Who doesn't want to see interior photos? Keep in mind when they text this number, so not only do they get this information, you get their information. You get their phone number right away so that you can reach out to them, right? And say, hey, when would you like to see this? It's a powerful, powerful tool. I know that some people may be like, oh, I don't get it. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal. So utilize that. With the photos on the yard sign. So kind of saying the psychology behind it. With those interior photos listed on there, it invokes a 42% higher response rate. It gets the property 94% more views, and 84% of buyers want to see interior photos. These are things that I am taking. Again, I'm taking my sample power pack, and I'm taking my active marketing plan. And this is how I'm going to explain to my seller, here's how I'm going to get more eyes on your property. I use this sign. This sign is really powerful because it's going to drive traffic into your home. And the more people we can get into your home, the higher the price we can get for your home. We want to drive demand. That is what drives offers. So Pillar 2, neighborhood canvas and why print matters. Neighborhood canvassing is part of my active marketing plan. I use high quality, eye-catching print pieces with professional photos of your home, and I place them throughout the community so buyers see your home again and again. Repetition. This pillar creates exposure, emotion, and repetition right at the neighborhood level. So a little script here that you can use. You have your list of tools that come in your listing power pack that you would utilize in this instance. It matters. People view physical advertising longer than digital advertising. Listen, I know it's a big question. Why can't I get, this tool in digital format? And we do offer some in digital format, but we don't want to offer everything in digital format, and that is strategic. Because that physical local advertising is what sticks with the consumer. They, again, put it on their refrigerator. They put it in their junk drawer. This is your face. This is your brand. This is your phone number. And that is what we want to get out into consumers' hands, right? LPT is just to help you leverage yourself into these communities and spheres in your farming area. People remember physical advertising for a longer time, recall details more quickly and confidently. Physical advertising produces a stronger emotional response, triggering activity in the brain, leading to greater intent to purchase. So that is why we use the print advertising in the way that we do. Direct mail. Just kind of a little script prompt here for your consumer, for your seller. You may not think of your mailbox as a powerful marketing channel, but it's been proven to be one of the best ways to ensure your message reaches the right audience. So we have the geo-targeted, just listed postcards, full color photos. It is text enabled, just like that sign writer for the property details. And it has the built-in tracking. Here's one of the things I love the most about direct mail. When they type in that code to get that property dedicated website or that tool is coded and tracked to that address. So you will literally get a notification that tells you which address typed in the code off of your direct mail marketing. Then You can keep targeting that address with your advertising efforts. That lets you know, oh, this caught this person's attention. They're interested. They're potentially looking to sell or buy in the near future. And you can become very strategic and intentional with how you contact them. Super cool. Pillar four is digital marketing. 44% of home buyers find the home they ultimately bought on the internet. We know this. People love to look on the internet. We're always on our phones, right? Making online advertising a vital part. So, running those digital ads featuring their home on top news sites, social media platforms, geo targeting, and again, having that dedicated property website for them to get fast, quick information about that property. And I'm going to show you here when you do buy a digital campaign ad, and this is the cool thing as well, you get a report that looks like this, that includes the websites on which their property was advertised, the radius, how many times, right? You have here, this one was 16,962 times. And that report that we pull for you is prepared. It will have your name with LPT Realty and again, your marketing and your branding here. When you give this to your consumer, from my memory, it is pulled within a few hours of the digital ad going live and within the week and 2 week time frame. So you're not just providing this report to them one time, you're providing it to them multiple times so they can see how the looks and the clicks and the repetition is compounding. So it is a very powerful tool.